just so you know, I may simmer down on doing some podcast content, just because, especially with this week, with the changed schedule, just having this cram some of the games, actually, to be exact, a couple of them, for this week that were supposed to happen the following week, right? So it just turns out I played at Satellite Park, which I was supposed to play tomorrow instead of today, but I had to move it to today, and tomorrow will be Glacier Park. That's supposed to happen. Excuse me. That was supposed to happen next week, right? And then Thursday stays original, if I'm not mistaken. That's Larwin Park. So I got every day except this Friday. I got a game, so I might have to simmer down my podcast content, at least for this week, and perhaps who knows what's going to be like, going to next week as well, because I gotta other than me being out of town this weekend, going to at least till Tuesday. Then I play Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So yeah, of the following week. So who knows where I'll be at with that. So as of now, I mean, unless the topic is short, right now, I may have to simmer down a bit, on this content, on doing the podcast content. I know I have a lot of topics in mind, but as of right now, I'm gonna have to simmer down. I do want to talk about all of them, but right now, all those topics have to be in the back burner because, like I said, I gotta take care of some of these games from, like yesterday and now today and possibly tomorrow as well. It may take some time, and I got other kinds of artworks that I gotta do for certain occasions, right? So let me just get into this topic right here. I've been wanting to talk about this for a long time already. So this is regarding, I don't want to take too long on it, but this is basically another, I will admit that I'm wrong, topic, and it does regard, my obsession with Kriza. I know it sounds, because that's what a lot of my other friends, and even many of my ex-close friends, have felt to me, on how I have treated Kriza and how I've treated the situation, that our friendship has not been the same, and they've seen me just bring up our friendship so much to the point where even they thought, and especially Mari as well, they thought that I must be obsessing over Kriza so damn much. And so look, as you know, she, along with Christine and Kirill, I talked about that, was it a week before, that our friendship, our accompanied by heart, relationship has just not been the same, right? And I understand they got school and stuff, but the feel of it is just not the same. Therefore, I had totally regretted about leaving for a year and a half, especially after that whole misunderstanding that got Kriza to be very upset, because she thought that I accused her of blocking her entirely on Facebook and this and that. Because remember, Facebook does not like us being friends for whatever reason. And so I thought I would stay put, and instead I left because I got really sensitive about it, and the rest is history, right? So I left for a year and a half, and I came back, and I just found our friendship to just not be the same. And especially since we were supposed to meet in person, toward the end of 2019, that even failed, right? So that's history. And so it further signified that our friendship was not the same in that sense. I know at one point, when we barely met, she's told me she was in LA, and I think she wanted me to come down there, and maybe we could meet and all that, right? And I remember when we reunited in June, that was a big time reuniting moment. She told me, "Hey, can you be my tour guide, this and that?" So at that time, our friendship just totally clicked, where it seemed like our Kapatid by Heart friendship was, it's like she was in her prime, her social prime, right? Prime socially, whatever you want to call it. She was in her prime socially, right? And so was our friendship. It was in its prime, right? So if this was like 2016 and we planned this whole like getting together, meeting up in LA, then I think, I say that I'm crazy, but I think it would happen compared to 2019, when obviously things are starting to fade off a bit, and because I was not on social media, I think if I had stayed on Facebook and Instagram and we planned it on either one of those platforms, I think we might have a chance, who knows what. But in 2016, I can assure you it was going to happen. But it did not happen. We never met. Our friendship just pretty much just dissipated, and the rest is history as well. But when I did come back from a year and a half, this is where I want to bring up most of my ex-close friends, because this is the part where I failed to realize that I still had them. Meaning they, and I mentioned this many times, especially when I talked in that video where I talked about that I had that Rhea took the spotlight over Kriza when I came back, because Rhea showed her true loyalty to me still, and has not changed how she treated me, right? And so in this video, I will admit that I think that I let myself become too focused on my friendship with Kriza, and say what you want, it sounds like that I've been obsessing over Kriza, in that sense that that makes me feel like I forgot who I have. Now, not to literally say that I've ignored them. I'm talking about these other guys that have still showed their consistent care for me even when I came back. I'm talking about Joanne, Marielle, Rhea, of course, Angel, Lovey Mel, Shy, a lot of them. And that was where I failed to realize that they were still there, right? So it's just sad that, like, I just and shame on me for just forgetting to realize that they were still around. Now, had I had that mentality, to even show more, like, just enough understanding to know that they're still there for me, then I would have to say maybe I could have easily just forgotten my friendship with Kriza. Not to say that at that time, Kriza is still okay with me, but it's to a point where, I may have to just forget it, forget that, as far as, like, don't worry about her. She's doing her thing, right? And I'm pretty sure she's doing her schoolwork and all that. If I just happen to know, then I would have definitely showed enough heart to realize, and even more so show my appreciation, show my true love to those, and these guys that I mentioned in particular, that they were still there for me. And they definitely were. I had talked with them, and for the most part, they were still around. Unfortunately, they were able to stick around me despite me just totally, just, I guess, just frowning over my relationship with Kriza, my Kapatid by Heart relationship. I mean, even though they were annoyed by that, they still stuck around, right? Before our friendships just eventually fell apart. But I just want to say that I will admit that my focus has been too much on Kriza, of all the competitors by heart. And I think that when it comes to Kriza, I think she was the most impactful competitor by heart. And Christine might be a tight second, but it's a hard debate between those two. But for me, it's Kriza, who has been the most impactful. And I think if I just had a different mindset, then I'm pretty sure that I would just let this all go, and then I would be more healed. And I think that for the most part, I would have been able to develop further my friendships with the guys that still stuck around and showed their true care for me. Like me and Angel have a well-established friendship, because we even kept in touch during my 1.5 year absence from Facebook. And we always communicated in Google Hangouts, and it was so much fun. I think that's where me and Angel had deepened our friendship, and that's where I could have told myself that if I had just did what I did, what they told me, let her go, especially remembering that what Marielle said, and Angel, right, Rhea. If I let all this go, then if I had to let her go just like that, then I think I would definitely further develop my friendships with these guys. I'm talking about Rhea, Marielle. My friendships were there; they were solid. It's just that I think that we could have definitely further developed it to where I think I could become closer with these guys, especially Rhea, because I think that would have definitely boded well on my social life, to where at least I could have long-lasting friendships with these guys. And these guys might be able to have lasted a lot longer, but unfortunately, I just didn't take that. I just did not take that route, and it is what it is at this point. So, and fast forward till now, I'm pretty much, I have my own issues to fix. I still have my friends around, just mostly the guys on the group texts, but in the end, like social media, and Mari had alluded to me that not that long ago, that it's just not the same anymore. So I think a lot of our friends, online friends, if you want to say it, the fangirl friends, the fanboy friends that we met from Imposters / Studio Angels, right, or from other fan groups, they have all disappeared to do their own things with their own family. Facebook, like she said, it might have faded, right? But I'm at the point where it's like the way that technology has transitioned. You got AI now. AI is just pretty much taking over, and in social media, where people can just do whatever they want, like less time for posting and interacting with other friends, and right. So the whole world is just changing. Paula said it, that a lot of people are self-absorbed, and it's to a point where I just already seen my circle get smaller, right? But I just thought I'd bring this up for the sake of just not being a better friend at the time. And I want to say better friend, but I've always had issues trying to be a better friend. Not that I said that I was never a good friend, but I could have been a better friend if I had the mentality to show enough realization and enough heart of who was still around. And unfortunately, in this case, I took it too far, to continuously obsess over Kriza, and frowning upon our friendship not being the same, instead of me just healing, allowing myself to heal, and moving on to, further develop my friendships with the rest of the guys that still cared at the time. Obviously they're all gone. So, yeah, man, it's a shame. I don't have them all anymore, but it is what it is, man. I gotta focus on my life right now because my still life is expiring further and further, and it's just not having it like that. Okay, so that being said, I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace. Thank you for watching, everyone. Like, share, and subscribe.